I want to start with honestly something I haven't done in one of these rooms in a long time, which is tapping out our cortices. This is a technique from the body talk system. What it does is it resets your nervous system so you're back in parasympathetic. Um, Part of what allows us to be able to access insight, to get in touch with what I help people develop, which is embodied intuition, is we must be in parasympathetic. It's not that we don't want to go into sympathetic. And if you don't know what parasympathetic is, that is literally when your nervous system is in rest, relaxation, regeneration. It's when we can create. We're not on alert. Sympathetic is when we're on alert. We're ready to fight, flight, flee, freeze, faint, all those F words. We're ready to do all of that. But when we drop into parasympathetic, we can digest again because the muscle's not out in our bloods. Our prefrontal cortex comes back on board. We have access to more of our resources. So this is a technique I learned back in 2007. I used to start every single class around the world that I taught in person, online with this technique. So what it's going to do is help bring into connection the right and left sides of our brain, strengthen this corpus callosum so that there is better communication between both of those halves, and then allow us to just soften and relax and be in touch with ourselves. And I'll say more because usually when we tap this out, I bring in a transmission of what else it can offer. I have a video from, I don't know, maybe 2010 or 12 or something like that of me tapping out my cortices. If you want to see the younger version of myself, you're welcome to find that on YouTube and do it after this. But the piece about the transmission, this is also very important in being able to access your higher wisdom. It is a practice. And if you allow yourself to be receptive to, we're calling this the insight field, a field of awareness that has so much potential for change. It's like when you are in the presence of someone who has a certain level of awareness or consciousness, you access something differently, especially if they are in a vibration of influence. And I'm saying this also, there's a side teaching here because there's a private client I've been working with who's been going through some struggles just around something new that is happening. And I'm guiding this person to get in touch with the part of themselves that trusts, the part of themselves that knows their resource. This is what we're going to do as we tap out our cortices. It's an inbuilt technique that you have within you. When you're able to tap into that part of yourself and then move forward with a challenge, the results are so different, right? And we're in a culture right now where even being on our phones can bring us out of that connection to our parasympathetic nervous system, right? Like I am so guilty of this. I was stressing out about something recently. Some of you know this if you've been in my spaces. And I have this thing that happened since the winter where I got addicted to a yarn game on my phone. And it's just like dopamine hits, dopamine hit, dopamine hit, dopamine hit. I know I'm in good company. And it's just like, oh, this is really getting me out of touch. This is not the stress response that I want. And it literally is taking over my body. I had enough wherewithal to see like, this is actually not doing something very good for me. And I'm genuinely curious about, okay, what's underneath this that wants to be seen? What is my deepest desire here that for the moment, this is my best coping mechanism. So I say this to all of you with love, because if you raise your hand and I ask you if you don't have a coping mechanism or you don't do anything like that, I know you're lying. Lying. Right? So like join the club. Like let's be real. And let's go from there. So even that, oh my God, I'm freaking out about this thing. Oh my God. Like, as going back to this client, it's this being in the sphere of influence with yourself, right? That is training. That is what I help people do so that in any given moment, there's a solution, there's a next step to take, there's an indication that's coming from within you around what you need. But we've been cut off from that. I even had a woman here in Bali yesterday tell me she wanted to do some private work again. And she's like, I have this part of my body. I'm calling it Martha. She's pointing to her belly. She's like, I know I'm blocking being in touch with what I know. She's like, I can't hear it anymore. It's cute. It's like literally Martha gesturing towards her gut. I was like, I know, I understand that. So we're going to do some work together on that. So your equivalent of Martha, your equivalent of the yarn game is welcome. If you want to share what that is, please feel free to type it in the chat. I did have we're gonna tap our cortices. I will just say this one thing. Nothing that is put in the chat will be shared unless it's me saying what the question is on the recording. And I forgot what I was going to say. So let's just get to our cortices. So you're going to take one hand and your fingertips are going to be together and you're going to place this hand on the base of your skull. So a lot of times people think neck, but it's not your neck. Find the ridge of bone at the base of your skull. And I have my hand covering both sides of my brain. So this is literally just an indication that I'm focusing on right half and left half. And you're going to take your other hand and you're going to tap gently on the top of your head. Take a deep breath. So start to deepen your breathing. Tap on your heart center. So right on your breastbone or your sternum, take a deep breath. Let it out. And then you're going to tap on your gut brain. So here's my belly button. It's right below that, my gut brain. Huge source of communication, neurotransmitters, getting rid of waste in the body. Let that breath out. Then you're going to take your hand and move it up to the next spot on your brain. If your arm gets tired, you can switch. Just take care of yourself. So tap on your head, take a deep breath. Now we're connecting this next area of your cortex brain. Tap on your heart center. Keep breathing deeply this whole time. This is a witnessing tool. Deep breath. Tap on your gut brain. Your breath is how your brain witnesses what's happening in your system, and then it can make adjustments. Deep breathing. You're going to move your hand again, just walk it up to the next spot. And again, if you're tired, just swap hands. Tap on your head. You can tap right over your hand. Deep breath. Let it out. Tap on your heart. Easy cycling of the witnessing through your breath. Tap on your gut brain. Move your hand again. Tap on your head, your heart, and your gut. So if you can hear, I am also offering, I was in sympathetic as I was teaching. I was outwardly focused, right? So I'm offering just a transmission for everyone to soften inward in the moment. Tap on head, heart, and gut. Go all the way to your forehead to cover your prefrontal cortex. Tap head, heart, and gut. Even just notice the quality with which you are paying attention. Can your breath be soft? Can your breath start to open up parts of your body that maybe haven't moved yet today? Tap head, heart, and gut. Can you soften your shoulders, your face, your jaw? And then when you're done with that, go to both sides of your brain to hold the parietal lobes of your cortex brain. Take a deep breath. connecting right and left. And then tap on your head. You can just rotate your fingers and tap like this. Deep breath. Hold the sides of your brain again. Take one hand away. Tap over your heart center. Deep breath. If you need to let out a sigh, please do. Oh, I gave myself a yay. Take a deep breath. AI hand gestures. And then tap on your gut brain. You can let your hands rest. And just take a moment to see if you notice anything from that. It's a cumulative tool. So like I said, you can go to my YouTube channel and find the very first video I ever put on there, which is this one. So you can do it again. The one thing I did want to say about this sympathetic and parasympathetic is the healthy use of stress, right? So when all of this information first started coming out, people were like, I can't be stressed. I can't be stressed. And we need to, I was saying this to this client who's going through this launch of something. Pressure is not a bad thing. It's the way the baby gets out of the womb, right? Like it's the way in, I believe it's in the book, The Science of Getting Rich, Wallace Wattles talks about we need to outgrow our current space. The baby is ready to come out when they outgrow their current space. Then it's time. And it's an act of pressure, right? So I see with people, they move away from the pressure because, oh, I should be relaxed. I should be soft. No, like the metaphor I often use, if you know who Michael Jordan is, I grew up when he was like he still is one of the most famous basketball players in the world. He doesn't go to make a free throw shot like, he's not like heading the ball into the hoop. It's like his force and his alignment, his energy, and literally his tongue is usually like this. It's like it's going to make that shot. And there's an arrangement of pressure. There's an arrangement of using that sympathetic response to, in that case, be very precise and achieve something. So we need a balance of both. So I did just want to say that this reset is so helpful, but to let you know that there's a dance between being in that space and then engaging in the world. Your body knows that. And your body will know if that's off kilter, if you can be honest enough with yourself around what actions you need to take to grow, because they will give you a moment of challenge. I will say this also. I had a moment in 2009 when I was in my body talk training with this incredible teacher, this German woman whose name I can't remember. And I had a very sensitive issue come up. So it was a room of 40 people. It wasn't too big. And my name got chosen out of one of the 3 that she chose that entire weekend of 40 people. My name got pulled out of the hat. So I go up to the front of the room and I'm very nervous and I know exactly what is on my mind. We started to speak and she had her microphone away from her mouth. And we started to talk and this guy's like, we can hear you. She's like, okay. And she asked me, are you okay with if I share this with the group? And this is after she's looking at my body. She literally like lifted up my shirt, like, what's wrong with this woman? Like, there's got to be something here. Taking my pulses, my acupuncture meridians, because she was a doctor of acupuncture also. And I finally shared, this thing, and it was charged. It was very charged. And before we went into the work, she said, you just increased your healing 40-fold, because I allowed myself to be witnessed by 40 other people in my imperfection, in what was so scary to me. It almost brings tears to my eyes right now. And I remember, like, after that session, like walking around, this is a teaching, with shame. Like, oh my God, what are people going to think of me? Like, what are people that, just like the thing that stops any growth, shame. And it's something we learn. So I have the session. She doesn't even, this was a course on allergies, microbes, toxins, studying this back in 2000, I think it was 2009. None of that even came up in the session. It was an emotional, spiritual, ancestral balancing. And all of this pain came up that I was carrying karmically in my lineage around women and abuse. And not that it literally happened to me in this lifetime, but I was carrying this. And she's like, I'm a German woman and I'm even crying at this story. So I was walking around a little bit afraid the next day. And that was my process, right? And people came up to me and they're like, thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you so much. I feel similarly about something. So I'm just offering this as an invitation for you to depersonalize what you might think is very, very personal. What you've been made to believe is very, very personal. And that is also one of the things that stops us from being able to grow, right? We give meaning to things that have absolutely no meaning at all until we assign the meaning. And the way that affects how we move through the world is monumental. It makes the difference between whether or not you can actually go for that thing that you've been dreaming about for years. Um, things like sharing your work with the world, things like having a very satisfying relationship, even things related to your own health, right? There's no shame.